it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take for Wednesday night, April the 30th. Yes, the last day of April. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Thanks for being here tonight. I did not stream last night. Probably was the worst night ever not to stream, but that's okay. That's okay. I had priorities. I was emceeing a big work event. There were 650 people there. Created a couple videos for the event. All in all, it was a great night. But I got home just before 11, so too tight to stream. Went to my church hour and then ended up working until 3 a.m. because today I had another big event that I helped create some content for. Tonight, a little bit quieter, still at church. Tomorrow, probably going to pick up a little bit. And then Friday, Saturday is going to be nuts because Saturday we're having a big youth rally for church. But enough about me. Let's talk about these Vancouver Canucks. So I got a lot to say. I want to give you a chance to say what you need to say because, yeah, I didn't stream last night. And a lot of things happened yesterday, obviously. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legends, Hall of Fame and franchise members, thank you for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether you're in my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland, province, country, continent, or around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be watching anyone else, doing anything else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, all three. But the fact that you are here with me, know how much I always appreciate you, and I never, ever take you for granted. And yes, I do think, not worried about numbers, but I do think actually numbers have just shot up in the past couple minutes. So I do think we're going to get a lot of people in here, whether on YouTube or on X. This is how you can get involved tonight, my friends. You can subscribe to the channel, get active in the chat section, get notified of my videos. You can like the video, like the fact that we're together, like the fact that we're going to navigate these rough waters together. And I'm not sure what direction the team is going in. We can talk about that. I want to hear from you. But I do like the fact that we are still one great Canucks community. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. You can gift a membership. You can buy your own membership. You can upgrade your own membership. You can use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and review. Okay, friends. Yesterday, I got the news that Quinn Hughes was nominated once again for the Norris Trophy for the best defenseman. And I did a vlog that actually didn't do so well. And I don't worry so much about numbers, subscribers, donations, all that kind of stuff. But I don't worry about them. I am interested in them. And I think the fact, and I think I made a mention here, the fact that my channel now is predominantly live streams, and I've gotten away from the quick one take videos, the news, the reaction videos, whatever, the news videos basically, because there's no Canucks team to cover. I think that the YouTube algorithm is finding its way back to me, or it's figuring out how to get my stuff out to the people, because my Quinn Hughes video did horrible, and I thought I did a good job. I broke down some stats. I talked about why Cale Makar is going to win. I talked about how Quinn Hughes should have won until he got injured around Christmas time. And then, of course, at the end of January, I talked about how Zach Werenski had a great Four Nations, but that didn't count. So, yeah, that video did really bad, which I was fine with, because then we got news. Elliot Friedman dropped it first, and then everyone picked up on it, that Rich Tocchet was not going to return to the Vancouver Canucks. And then I ran down to my studio that's in my office, recorded that Tocchet video, and that one did really, really well. But because I was preparing for last night's event, I knew I wasn't going to live stream. So I watched Jim Rutherford's press conference while I was eating my lunch, and then didn't have time to make a reaction video or live stream, and then just went on to my event. So let me talk a bit about what I heard and what I saw yesterday, and then I'm going to turn it over to all of you for sure. I would love to. I would love to get a lot of your feedback tonight. Now, my question was, I can't even read my question anymore. What does it say? Can't even see it. Something like has your perception of the Vancouver Canucks changed because of the circumstances, the decision of Rick Tocchet not coming back. So got to be careful with what I say, just in case. Yeah, I just got to be careful. But I'm a little bit disheartened right now. I'm a little bit. I'm still the same level of fan. I still want the Canucks to win so badly. I would not love nothing more for them to win a Stanley Cup. But yeah, disheartened might not disheartened. There's no such word. Disheartened might be the word. I'm not sad. Am I disappointed? No, I'm more confused. And just like a proud parent or a proud friend, I do get upset when I hear people talk about the Canucks, especially slamming them. I do get upset when it's either people I know or people I don't know just going at them and making fun of them, saying, oh, this is a clown show or whatever it may be. But how can you come out of yesterday with increased confidence in the team? And I'm not talking about ownership. I'm not talking about management. Definitely not talking about coaching. Well, I'm talking about coaching, but I'm not talking about them, the factor. And you certainly can't blame the players either. So it's not about playing the blame game. It's about rationally, you can be optimistic, you can be hopeful, but rationally looking at the situation. And it is a bewildering situation. Maybe those are the two words I'm going to use right now, is disheartened and bewildered. Because I think Jim Rutherford, you may agree with me, he looked bewildered. Patrick Allvin was traveling to Dallas to watch the tourney. So it was just Rutherford, and Rutherford probably gives more sound bites and nuggets than say Patrick Allvin did. But Rutherford looked bewildered, and not because of his age or anything like that, because I think that he, in his heart of hearts, thought that they were going to re-sign Rick Tocchet. And that's fine and well and good. But I wonder if he was blind to some of the signs that Rick Tocchet was likely not going to come back. Because it's one thing to do your best to negotiate, to give a good offer, but to have the foresight and the wherewithal to say, okay, even though we're offering all these things, there's a good chance, not necessarily a majority chance, but there's a good chance that this isn't going to happen and he's still going to walk. But tell me if you agree, in watching Rutherford, I think he thought, I don't want to say that it was in the bag, because that's probably not the best handicapping of the odds. But he looked bewildered. He looked shocked. He looked surprised that they didn't get their guy. So in losing Rick Tocchet, the Jack Adams winner 2 years ago, and I think a guy who did a pretty darn good job last season, I'll talk about what he said, but I'm going to throw this out there. Who is going to want to come here to coach? Honestly, who? Because you have the Rangers job, you have the Boston job. Those kind of like jump up to the forefront right away. But then might a Seattle or an Anaheim, like Anaheim, they got some good promise there. Would you say that all of those markets are more desirable than Vancouver? And someone that I know and trust, and we talk Canucks about, he thinks that Manny Malhotra is going to end up being the Canucks head coach, and that's not. And he's done a good job with Toronto organization. He's done a great job in Abbotsford, all those things. But he thinks that the Canucks are going to wind up with Malhotra as their head coach almost by default, because no other, quote, good coach, and you know what I mean, more experienced coach, maybe that's a better way of putting it, high profile coach, maybe that's a good way of putting it. None of those guys are going to want to come here because of what's happened. And we know what's happened. Bruce Boudreau replaced Travis Green in December 2021. Only last 13 months, because he was replaced by Rick Tocchet in January 2023. And then here we are in April 2025, and Rick Tocchet is gone. So it went from Travis. So everyone keeps talking about 4 coaches in 4 years, where you're saying, Clay, I can only count 3. That's because we're going to have to hire a 4th coach. So they're talking about Travis Green, they're talking about Bruce Boudreau, and they're talking about Rick Tocchet. So I'm not saying that you want these guys, but I know Coach Rob wants Jay Woodcroft. So why would a Jay Woodcroft? Why would a Mike Sullivan? Why would a Peter Laviolette? Why would a Dan Bylsma? Why? And I'm not saying, again, Derek Lalonde. I'm not saying that these guys are my picks, my favorites. Maybe John Cooper's going to be available after Tampa got eliminated today. By the way, rest in peace to all my hockey pools, because I thought that Tampa was going to beat Florida. So everyone in my confidence pool, you have one less contender to worry about. Anyway, back to the Canucks and back to Rick Tocchet. Tocchet is very well respected. So I'm worried that all the better coaches are going to want one of the other jobs. And I think Rick Tocchet becomes the number 2 man out there now behind Mike Sullivan in terms of desirability, in terms of, pedigree, all those things. A couple other thoughts. I just want to get through these thoughts, and then I'll definitely go to all of you. Then Jim Rutherford's reasoning, like, did you guys feel he was almost mad? Like he kept referring to his friendship with Rick Tocchet, and I think it's only because of his friendship with Rick Tocchet that he was as charitable as he was. He looked mad. Rutherford looked bewildered, and he looked mad. And I think he felt almost betrayed a little bit. Are you guys with me? I felt that Rutherford almost felt betrayed by Rick Tocchet. But then that kind of goes back to my original point of, was Rutherford not thinking or seeing clearly? Was he almost naive in thinking that Rick Tocchet was going to come back? Yeah, so Coach Rob saying he agrees, and he also agrees with Japan for saying Malhotra would be a huge mistake, not enough experience. Yeah, so I think that Rutherford was bewildered, and I think he was betrayed and angry. And I think because of his friendship and his respect for Rick Tocchet, he didn't lay into him, because there were a couple of times where I thought he was actually going to say something, or not that he would regret, but simply, I don't know. I'm sure he was upset. He had a lot of emotions going through him. He didn't have Patrick Allvin by his side, and he had 2 hours to figure out how he was going to convey what he was conveying. So the reasons he gave for Rick Tocchet, they said that they gave him a really good offer. It was rumored 5 times 5. That's kind of what we've been talking about on the show as well. But Rick Tocchet said, and in his press conference, in his words, he said that at this time in his life, I'm not sure if he used the word stability, but it sounded like to me he wants stability for himself, for his family. I think some of his family's on the West Coast, some of his family's on the East Coast. But I think, and we're hearing a lot about this. We even heard Rutherford say this about Mike Sullivan, that Mike Sullivan's not going to come to Vancouver because Sullivan wants to stay on the East Coast as well. So maybe there is an allure to staying on the East Coast of the United States. There's less travel for the team that you're coaching, a lot of big cities there. And especially if you grew up there, have roots there, or have family there, for all those reasons, that's why a lot of these coaches might want to be on the East Coast, and especially in the northern East Coast, Boston, Rangers, all those kind of things. And then Rutherford seemed to intimate that there were some personal reasons that Tocchet wanted to be on the East Coast, and Rutherford smartly didn't lean into them, or didn't go expand on those things. So that was the reasoning why. And for me, and only me, what I was struck by, my friends, was less the reasoning of Tocchet and the more, because those reasons make sense to me, and I would never judge someone on those type of, especially if it's family. Like, I would never judge anyone on their reasoning and their discernment. You guys, I was more taken aback by Rutherford's apparent surprise. I guess that's my biggest point. Is that's what I was most surprised by. So then let's flesh this out a little bit. So then an interesting thing was, there's about 2 or 3 other interesting points I want to touch on, and then I'll get to all of you, I promise. The Quinn Hughes thing. So Rutherford not really jokingly, but candidly said, when asked, what does Quinn think, or how is this going to affect Quinn Hughes' future? We know he's got 2 more years left on his contract. We know that's going to be the biggest story for the next year until he's extendable. Rutherford basically said that Hughes wasn't returning his call. That's basically what he said. He said, I hope he's golfing because he usually calls me back within 30 minutes of me messaging him or calling him. Why would you say that? Why? Just say, I haven't talked to Quinn yet. Boom. Done. That's not lying. That's truthful. But and maybe this is a little bit of pot calling the kettle black. I know I get accused or I get, what's the word? Not accused. People point out to me that maybe I'm an oversharer, that maybe I say things that I don't need to say. I give too much detail. And you guys know I like giving you guys a glimpse of my life. I like taking you behind the curtain, so to speak. But I don't know if I'd even do what Rutherford did, because that was quite, on one hand, I really like how open and transparent he is. And you're always going to, just like the year-end press conference, you're always going to learn something or talk about something, or he's going to incite madness among the fan base or discussion. But this was one where I prefer he didn't say anything. He could have simply said, no, I haven't talked to Quinn yet, but it's a priority for me. So there's that. And I'll get back to Quinn Hughes in a sec. Then he joked about the practice facility when a media member asked, well, how are you going to attract, what's going to be some of your selling points to potential head coaches? And Rutherford, just 8 days after joking and lamenting that he hopes to see a practice facility before he dies, or he didn't say dies, but he said while he's around, so that's basically intimating the same thing. He joked about it and said, one thing I would tell them is, we got a great practice facility, or you're going to love the practice facility. I don't know how he worded it. It was yesterday now. But, on one hand, good job for being so self-aware that you can joke about it. On the other hand, that's probably not the best joke right now. And then the Tom Verlander thing, basically calling Verlander out saying, why would you decide to return to school for another year or two when you could be making millions of dollars? He basically said that. And if you're Tom Verlander's camp, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that at all. How's that going to build a bridge? So yeah, I guess you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't complain that Rutherford, you can't complain that you want Rutherford to be more open, and then, well, I guess you can. You can do whatever you want, and then get upset at what he says. It's just kind of silly to me. But here's the big picture. Here's the big picture. If this is showing even more dysfunction, and this team had a dysfunctional year, and we don't have to go through everything, but starting with the injuries, the people not ready for camp because of injuries, Demko, Joshua, then the Miller leave, the Miller PD spat, the trading of Miller, the injuries to all these guys, and then missing the playoffs. So all these things, calling out Brock Besser on the trade deadline. There's so many weird things this season. And then this, throwing $5 million a year at a guy, making him the 3rd or 4th highest paid coach in the league. And he says, no, I'm good. Thank you though. Now I get it. There's other coaching vacancies. There could be a return to TV. There's all these things. I get that. But I think you'd agree with me. There's no way that Tocchet, even if you don't like him as a coach, even if you didn't want him to come back, there's no, you can't paint this as a positive in any way, shape, or form. The way that Tocchet left, the way that it left Jim Rutherford bewildered and beleaguered and any of these things. So my last thing I'll say is, if you're trying to get a coach, if you're trying to track free agents, if you're trying to get your college, your best prospect to sign, all these things, it's got to add up, doesn't it? And it's got to make you, from an outsider looking in, you might say, what the heck's going on with this team? Now, I'm still going to support them. I still have my season tickets. I'm still going to go to a lot of games. I'm still going to create content. None of that's changed. And who knows, maybe 2 months from now, after an amazing draft or an amazing trade at the draft, and then a great draft pick or a great first day of free agency, which is actually exactly 2 months and 1 day away now because it's May 1 tomorrow. Maybe I'll be changing my tune, and I'll be happy to admit. So I'm not like down on the, no, I'm not down on the team. I just found that yesterday did not help the team. I just found that yesterday made us more of a talking point around the league. And I'm going to end the poll right now. I asked you, it's exactly 2/3, 1/3. I asked you, has your perception of the Canucks changed with the new circumstances around Rich Tocchet leaving? Exactly 2/3, 1/3. 66% saying yes, and 33% saying no. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll do my mid-show sponsor read, and then I would love to take it. You don't even have to ask me questions. I'll try to get to as many comments of yours as I can, but I want to know. I want to know how you are feeling about this team right here, right now. Last thing I'll say. I keep saying that the goaltenders are good. Lankinen and Demko and Lankinen, Lemko. I keep saying that our defense, our blue line, is way stronger than we started the year, and I think you'd agree with me. And that's even without Verlander. You have Hughes, Hronek, Pettersson, Myers, DPD, Mancini. And Mancini was good. Then he would dipped a bit. Then he was good again. Like Mancini was great. I wonder if Mancini's play makes Verlander more expendable. But you got nothing up front. Imagine if Suter and Besser don't sign. You have Petey, and you were hoping that he has a bounce back year. You have a hardworking Connor Garland, and you have Jake DeBrusk, who set a career high. But then what? You have a bunch of role players and guys that we need to. We're not sure what Hoglander is going to be. We're not sure what Drew O'Connor is going to be. I think we're sure what Kiefer Sherwood's going to be, but he's an impact player, but he's a small I impact player, if you know what I mean. So there's all these things, and right down the middle, Filipino, a big question mark. We don't have depth down the middle, and that's kind of where you got to build your team out from, or at least pay as much attention to the middle of the ice as you do the goaltending and defense. So some thoughts for you. I'm fine. I'm not sad. I am very tired though. I don't know if you can tell my voice or if I look any different. I got a nice haircut though, but yeah, a couple late nights and a couple people at work were concerned for me. One nun, she was very sweet. That's gonna be too much of a sob story, but or you're not worth sharing. But yes, I do got to make sure that I get rest over this week for sure, heading into this weekend. So I'm not going to go too late tonight, maybe about 40, 45. Oh, we'll see. I say that now. I'll probably go 45 or 50 minutes. But enough about me. Let's get to the Mitchell sponsor read, and let's get to your thoughts on what is going on with this team right now. Tell me, in a couple minutes, tell me if you agree with me, if I'm too optimistic somehow, if I'm too pessimistic, or where you line up with what I've been saying. Let's start off by my mid-show sponsor read by thanking my primary sponsor. And that, of course, is Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Thank you to my secondary sponsor, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. You can check him out at coachpatrickliu.com/clay and receive a free 5-day workout if you do so. Thank you to Gassy Jack Art, maker of that fine artwork. Thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch at canuckclay.threadless.com. I appreciate you helping me out that way. And reminders how you can get involved tonight. Subscribe to the channel. You can like the video. You can be the first to leave a donation. Leave a donation if you want to support me that way. You can gift a membership. You can buy your own membership. You can upgrade your own membership. You can use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and review. And don't forget, no show tomorrow night. No scheduled show on Thursday night because of the Friday and Saturday that I have ahead of me. But if I'm in a good place tomorrow night, if all my work is done, and if I can afford an hour of not working, then I'll happily do a show tomorrow night, and especially if there's big news as well. But let me know. Don't let me know. I will let you know. If you don't hear anything, that means I'm not streaming tomorrow night, because that is the plan as of right now. And I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that 2 teams were eliminated tonight. Goodbye Montreal, goodbye Tampa Bay, and goodbye all my pools. And then both those teams lose by 3 goals. It's Florida moving on. It's Washington moving on. And the Jets win a pivotal Game 5, taking out the Blues 5-3. Okay, friends, I know you guys, there's 80 of you here. Thank you. Another 90 watching on X. Thank you, those on X. And I know you guys have been chatting up a storm, which is great, but I'm not going to go back to those because I would never catch up. So from here, let's go. Adrian says, time for new owner. Culture needs to be turned. Fillmore says, sell the team. Taylor, they're closer to know what it's like in playoffs. I'd rather guys like them who could have won a dick. Oh, sorry. I have no context to what you're talking about, Taylor. Sorry. As fans, are we allowed to be critical, or is true fandom being blindly loyal? No, I think Swerve and Irvin, I think the best fans are those that can critically think, if that makes sense. They're not critical. They can be critical, especially if the team deserves it. But I think we need critical thinkers, those that can understand, can rationalize what is happening, and then draw their own conclusions. Great question. I'm not too sure how I feel about the team right now. To be honest, I haven't even been thinking about coaching candidates. For me, it's whatever happens, happens. I got spoiled with the Vigneault years. That's fair. Kemper is rotting away in LA. Yeah, that was a disappointing game yesterday if you're an LA fan. I feel next season will be a pivotal season. Whatever happens will set the future course of the team for better or for worse. That's fair. Don't forget how the Bruce Boudreau firing was handled. The management team, unfortunately, has a track record of this. That's true. That's true. They bungled that very much. If you're a teacher, do you worry more about the failing student or the honor student whose grades are slipping? Yes, this is an analogy for the Canucks. I worry about the failing student. The honor student, I would have confidence that they get back to where they are going. Go Jets. Great win tonight. Kudos to them. Now go in St. Louis, play your game, and finish out the job. I'm with you, Natty. Aquiline will not sell. With expansion on the horizon, Aquiline is going to be making some serious money from expansion fees soon. Hey, SGA. I will still be a fan, but it's frustrating that they made playoffs 2 times in 10 years, will have 4 coaches in 4 years, and make such bad choices that slap fans in the face with drama rather than good hockey. Justin, tell me how you really feel. Give BX a call and see if you would like to be a part of the organization anyway. Maybe as an assistant coach. Keefe should go to Van. He's still with San Jose, though. I mean, still with Devils, right? Coaching system that's closer in similarities than a coaching staff that won in different times. Oh, I see what you're saying. You guys are talking about coaching styles. Doing well, SGA. Hope you are well as well. Almost feels like for me that a distant friend died. Kind of sad. Yesterday I felt down a bit today too. Oh, you mean with this Tocchet stuff? Yep. Talk about Manny, Kevin, Ryan, and maybe Alex being the coaches here. Yeah, are Kevin, Ryan, and Alex good coaches though? I just know. I'm sorry, Bros has been coaching. Watching the live stream and when Clay was guessing your age, I literally thought you were 29. Like you look so young. There you go. Hey, what about me, Jessica? How come you didn't say I look like 29? Because I probably look like I'm 49, which is only one off. I feel like the Tocchet departure is a huge vote of non-confidence that Canucks have what it takes to turn things around in the current window. Yep. That's a good point, Erwin. I should have said that because I was meaning to say it. Tocchet might have just said, no, I kind of hinted at it. I'm good. This isn't for me. I don't want to be around. This is going to take too long to fix. Clay, when did you assume everything started to go south? When they traded JT Miller? And that's not because I like Miller more than Petey or I like Petey more than Miller. I just think how can you trade away such a good player? That means something must have been going rotten in that dressing room. Do you think it's higher up in your opinion that the owners of the hockey team? Do you think it's the owners of them? Simon, I'm not sure what you're asking. So please ask again. I'll do my best to answer. Never going to win anything with Aquilini owning the team. What a joke. I was definitely critical about the team this season with all the blown leads. Never comfortable with leads this year. Yeah. Rank these 3 bad years, 99, 14, and 2025. 14 was strange because of the Tortorella stuff. And they were actually in a playoff position. But then Willie D come and gets them in the playoffs the next year. So I'm going to give that as 3rd. I'll go this past year. Because of expectations, 99 had a lot of expectations, and then 14. 7 and 12, says Japan 4 is garbage. 99 drafted the Sedins. Can I be a special guest on your show? We can negotiate that outside of this stream, SGA. Canucks badly need a head coach that can stabilize the bench. It can't keep up with how many more coaches we will go through. That's fair. 2025 wasn't necessarily bad, not great. I think compared to expectations, I would categorize it as bad, Tyler. Buffalo and Vancouver have so much in common. Yep, expansion cousins. Clay, when will you do your mukbangs? That's summer content written all over it. Jessica, will you come over and help me with it? You can do creative direction. You can cook the food. You can hold the microphone to my mouth. Whatever you want to do, Jessica. I wonder what all the Fire Talking people will say now. Yeah, we should find some and ask them. Greatest fear is losing Hughes in the next couple of years. A rebuild is inevitable. Yes. Vancouver housing prices are too high for an NHL. I think they can afford it. Has my view of the team changed with Tocchet leaving? No, this has always been chaos and will always be chaos with the tortilla slap. Hey, Russell, nice to see you. Oh, I never replied to your email. I meant to. Yes, I'd be happy to join you when my schedule clears up. So if you're streaming all the way to Stanley Cup finals, it might be a conference final thing if that's cool. But I'll get back to you. Basically, find someone who's been an assistant coach for the Canucks in the past and left on good terms, or an NHL coach which has been in the organization. So you mean Malhotra. When this management looks for a coach, are they needing to hire someone who extra sensitive to deal with EP40? Yeah, Japan 4, that's a great point. I don't know if it's extra sensitive or it's just someone who's aware of the situation and can handle it. It might not be sensitive. Maybe it's a different type of approach. I think Tocchet was just burnt out. All the other places he's rumored to go to are as bad or worse than the Canucks. Michael, yeah, are they though? Like the Rangers, are they as dysfunctional as us though? Or as some would say we are? Fire me, I'd rather quit first. I think Redford needs to stop oversharing because every time he meets with the media, he blows up and the entire NHL talks about him. Tells us what is your preference for next coach. I think Malhotra is good, but I'm not sure if he'd be my first choice. I don't know. Sullivan would be my first choice, but I don't think he's coming here. You know, I've always liked Dan Bylsma of Pittsburgh, and then he went to Seattle, right? I've always liked Bylsma, but I don't know how high he's going to be up on the list. Could just rent Airbnb if you don't expect to work that long, or do what Tortorella did and then put a Murphy bed inside the Canucks locker room and then live in Point Roberts. I saw the Canucks go really downhill when they traded Miller. Exactly, Shannon. Burrow's never been a head coach. He's only been assistant coach in Montreal for like 2 years before going into a player development role. Gotcha. Canucks don't have the worst situation in the whole league, do they? Compared to expectations, I'd say Vancouver, New York, and Nashville. But yeah, maybe it's because we're so close to this situation. That's a good question, Dan. Talk is also old. Is he like 60? I'm sure he'd rather not be in a head coaching position if he's getting up there in age. Who knows how long it'll last if he chooses Philly. Or maybe, yeah, that's fair, Taylor. Maybe it rejuvenates him for sure. Hey, RSA, 60's not that old for coaches. Help, LOL, Clay, that would be so funny. So are you saying yes, Jessica? Are you saying yes? Are you saying there's a chance? Try to be optimistic, but yes, it was a bad year in different ways, but had good moments. Sure, there's always a few good moments. Glass half full. What if PD uses this whole thing as motivation for next year? Zal, I would love that. I would love that. I'm just as bewildered as Rutherford. Things went so well last season. This season happened. Now Bo's gone, JT's gone, Tocchett's gone, Besser's about to be gone, Suter most likely too. Yes, 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 and yes. Stars versus Canes. That's not a bad guess. Book of Truths. Didn't an equipment guy or trainer that's been there forever? Yes, Pat O'Neill. But I don't think that was because of anything else other than getting up there in age. Sick and tired of some people on X and social media putting the full blame on PD, this on everything from management and player and maybe the owner, but we don't know how involved he is. Hey, Ryan. Yep, I think blame and something like this goes around to everyone. Thanks, Russell. What will it take to restore confidence? Apparently, Hito is being shipped for job. Yes, Josh Norris. I read that today, so I have to go into. I heard about that today. I have to go and look into it. East is much more open than the West. Do you think it's a higher rep like the owners who own the Canucks? Wire head coach gone, and who do you think would be the next one? Okay, sorry, Sam. I don't know what you're asking for the first part. For the second one, I don't know who is. I think Malhotra's got a good shot. Like I said, I like Dan Bylsma, but I don't think it'll be him. Gerard Gallant, I do like as well. Did I see that JT and EP were beefing for 4 years? I didn't see 4 years, but I wouldn't be surprised. Do you still have trust in upper management after all this drama and chaos? I can't see why I continue to trust the uppers. Yeah, my trust is eroded a little bit, for sure. For sure. Off-season feels worse than the year where they got swept by LA and the whole uncertainty of the city's future. How can any organization be this dysfunctional for so long with so many changes? Yeah. The game has passed Biles by. Okay, that's fair. Coach Carter. Rich what? Very good, Adrian. Wouldn't it be the higher-ups who own the Canucks that management would want a new head coach? Oh, okay. Thank you, Simon, for clarifying. Wouldn't it be the higher-ups who own that management want? So if you're asking who, I think we're learning that Aquilini probably has a say for sure, if that's what you're asking. But it'll be up to Rutherford and Alvin to find the next coach. Canucks don't need a rebuild, just a recalibration. Yeah, Buffalo's situation is pretty bad. They're ranked 32nd worst, or the 32nd best, the worst front office. Some people like Laviolette, others don't. Laviolette. You know what? I keep saying Lafayette like the guy in Hamilton. Laviolette. Peter Laviolette. Yeah, I think the market's 50-50 on him. Canucks have slapped fans in the face harder in their history than Kaylee did to Clay that night with the tortilla. Very good. Do you think they should go for a younger coach or veteran coach? Veteran coach. Veteran. Oh, Steve Dangle was funny after the loss? I can imagine. Do you see rumors be reported about Yo and Colton left because of money? No, I did not see that. Tell me, where'd you find that, Zal? Send it to me. I want to read it. Pittsburgh's going to go for the Swedish national coach? Okay. Are you concerned that Alvin might abandon Rutherford now? No, I think those guys are two peas in a pod. I think they're linked forever. Wuhan, they'll re-sign Suter. Okay, that's fair. The next Canucks coach is Canuck Clay. The next GM, Rev Trev. I'll take it. Just don't pull an option on me, Trev. Abbott's great. Really, really great story. And Malhotra's doing a great job with them. Laviolette always gets instant results where he's hired. Oh, Quenneville would be a good fit for us. I don't mind Quenneville. I know all the history and stuff, but I actually like Quenneville as a coach. I respected him. Or you're asking someone else? Because I don't know what you're talking about. Who's Whiskey Lung? Yeah, it'd be a great team. Hard no to Quenneville. Canucks are going to have as many coaches at this rate as they do jerseys. Yeah, we just need a president now to oversee us. You like Coach Q. Bring back Crawford. It becomes a 4-ring circus. Crawford. Don't hold your breath about Aquilini out. All right, Russell's the equipment guy. Good. We're building a nice little infrastructure here. Canucks can't really afford to do a full rebuild because of the weak Canadian dollar and a bad team de-incentivizing people from buying tickets. Yeah, I don't think they can do a rebuild just yet. Complete house cleaning is needed. Okay, or this. Canucks was one of the most desirable places for players at one point. Now everyone avoiding this team. Well, we don't know if they're avoiding it, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. I can deal with whatever management deals with, only because I will look forward the team next season. The reason is because Canucks sending that statement on Saturday regarding the tragic event. Oh, so you have some respect for that statement. Is that what you're saying, Fillmore? Yeah, it was good. Nashville failed the most after all those free agent guys. Yeah, that was a bad. Trade all Petterssons for all Hughes. Who says no? I think the team giving up the Hugheses. It was PJ who mentioned that decided to trade Hito for Norris. It was a video. Tell Aquilini to stay out of decisions. Best movie coach Canucks could hire Jackson, Estevez, or Hack. Oh, Samuel Jackson for sure. He can scare everyone with his mouth. Ryan joke about recycling the same 40 AHL coaches for open vacancies. At some point, you got to give a new generation a chance. That is true, Rain. That is true. Nathan Lafayette, very good. Let Kurt McLean coach? Maybe. Peter the Violet. Okay, I like that. I have to watch Russell streams more. I don't know who Dobby is. Lucas could coach. He could coach. Buffalo's had a really good time drafting players, but really bad at putting it all together. Do you think the economic uncertainty in BC, the Canucks dysfunction, and the increased ticket price next year, do you think the time is right for fan apathy? Yeah, Darren, I think if the season doesn't start well next year, it's going to be ugly. I really do. Canucks should hire 34-year-old David Carl from Anchorage, Alaska. He used to be a coach with Chicago. Okay. Didn't know about him, Edison. Thank you. Ted Orion and Mighty Ducks. Similar engagement as TV ratings, but the gate and merch revenue will suffer. That's fair. Oh, he looks like that guy, not me. Okay, gotcha. Definitely a bit stunned when I saw the Friedman tweet. I was eating lunch and scrolling through TikTok when I saw the notification. Indeed. A chat GPT coach. Amazing. With regards to coaching and money, it's one thing to have a lifestyle. It's another thing to maintain a lifestyle, said lifestyle, which is probably why we keep seeing coaches get fired and come back. Oh, that's a good point. After all this chaos, Equity still dares to raise ticket prices. Yep. Probably not SGA. Admittedly, especially over the next 2 weeks, I don't have any time to be watching games, unfortunately. Canuck Clay for coach? I'd be okay. I think I'd be a good motivator. I'm not sure if I know anything about the X's and O's, though. NCAA coach? Yeah, Parker would be good for president of opera. Yeah, I like that. TLC does not want to be president. Canuck coach House Hall of Fame. Canuck coach house. What does that mean, Dan? Canuck coach House Hall of Fame. The Canucks' new coach will be an iPad with a browser open on ChatGPT. Instant offside reviews. Allow ChatGPT to run and manage it. Can't get any worse. TLC doesn't want to be the president. You got it. Coaching matters. I'm disappointed Tocchet is gone, but he's replaceable. He's replaceable. Captain Quinn, on the other hand, is not replaceable. Fair point. I did say in December that you should go for a half rebuild. Okay. What happened first? Canucks make the conference final. Shorthouse retires. I don't want Shorty to retire, so I'll say Canucks makes the conference finals. Hughes were conceived to be hockey players. Their essence preceded their existence. It's very deep, but yes. John Cooper leaving Tampa. Is it time? I would love Cooper here. But would he come here? Shout out to James Moore for his work on TV. Oh, he was on TV on Monday? Awesome. Vigneault reunite with Vancouver and use Malhotra as assistant. Okay. Is there an AI on the planet that could handle the Canucks? It would explode. Carl's being the coach of the American World Juniors team. That's where I recognize his name. Very good. Thank you. I would want John Cooper if he's willing to return. The Canucks should rebuild. Just make the beer and tickets cheaper for the blue-collar fans. Sellouts will happen. Still happen. Tocchet wasn't that great when he... Tocchet wasn't that great. Was he good? Yes, but the coaching style system isn't really good. They set a record last playoffs for least shots on goal per game. Why does Toronto suck so much? I know everyone likes to see them fail. Be upset if Quinn Hughes left. Me too, Shannon. Yes, my next show is on Sunday, Carol. Ted Lasso for coach. With Coop rumors, do you think it's the end of an era? I think it could be. But they had a really good regular season. But they had to play against the Florida Panthers, defending champs. With Tocchet, does it make him the most coveted coach? Second, Adrian, behind Mike Sullivan. I think he becomes the second most coveted coach for sure. If I do an Abbotsford Canucks versus Barracuda postgame show, will you tune in? Perhaps. I don't know for sure. Depends on my schedule, SGA. I'd stop by if I was at home on the computer. Canucks season is like a season of Big Brother. Interesting. What's your thought about the Tocchet wanting management to trade What's your thoughts about the Tocchet wanting management to trade EP40? Oh yeah, I saw that rumor today. What are my thoughts? I don't think it's not true. So I could see it being true. I've seen it mentioned by a couple of people, and I can't say too much here. I've heard enough stories about just Tocchet and Pedersen. I'll just say it like that. I can't say more, and I'm not trying to be, what do you know? No, it's not even that. I think it's just obvious the way he talked about him publicly. So I wouldn't be surprised. And yeah, and I think I even alluded to that on my show when PD signed that big contract. I think I even made overtures about Tocchet might not be the most happy about it. Yeah. If we trade Quinn next year, we would tank to get McKenna in 26 and DuPont in 27. Okay. Yeah, there's a path there. What is GZZZ to Dean Evison for Canada Jaw? Players would have one word drilled into them if I was coach. Perimeter. Face the opponent to the perimeter, or force the opponent to the perimeter. Keep four inside. I think we'll be okay. Season can only be described as a season of Big Brother or The Bachelor or Bachelorette. Once somebody leaves BC, they usually never come home. I would love Cooper to come to Vancouver. I think if he retired, don't think he would take a role behind the bench, maybe a senior advisor. Would Tampa willingly let Cooper go? Yeah, that's fair. AV is retired. Crow is retired as well. 2010, the Canadian dollar is worth. Yes, I remember that. Even though the Canucks were really good, a strong Canadian dollar could have offset the price hikes. Yeah, that's a good point. I remember that when our dollar was actually stronger than the US one. Hey, Lyndon, interesting with all the coaches getting sacked or just leaving makes you wonder. Yeah, that's exactly, Murray. That's what we were talking about. Could EP40 be a spoiled kid? I don't know. I think Rick Bowness still wants to coach. I don't know about that either. I don't. Positive spin. At least the owner isn't paying 3 coaches. Positive spin. At least the owner isn't paying 3 coaches. Why is Travis Green? We don't have to pay him anymore. Thank you, SGA, for the kind words. Thank you, SGA, for the kind words. For all the tank people, one player doesn't change our fortunes. We need multiple draft picks to hit. This is sad because we're almost like Buffalo. We both haven't won a Stanley Cup. We can't stay in the playoffs for 2 years in a row. Thank you, SGA, for the kind words. Buffalo is the definition of it could be worse. Tim, doesn't matter if we tank. We'll never pick first. John Cooper will be expensive to bring to Vancouver. Currently makes 5.3. If I think I'm going to do my next meetup in the bowling alley in Richmond, Simon, but I'm not sure just yet. No bonus or nonus. The Phoenix Suns are paying 4 coaches right now. What? They offered talk at 5, and if Cooper makes 5.3, that's not much different. Clay is a legend. Thank you, SGA. Takes one to know one. All right, friends. I think I'm going to wrap up here. I got a bit of work to do for tomorrow, and I'm very grateful that so many of you tuned in. I know I was one day late to the news, but that's okay. It's still going to be a talking point. See what I did there? For many weeks to come until we actually hire a head coach. So thanks everyone for being here. No show tomorrow night scheduled, but if my work's going well and I feel energetic, I will do a show, but I'm likely not going to do one. So my next show is actually not until Sunday. Next week, I can already, knowing what my week looks like next week, pretty sure I'm going to go Sunday, Tuesday, and then members Thursday. But we'll confirm all of that next week. And then the middle May gets a little bit hairy because I'll be back east in Quebec City and Montreal. I guess I'm not watching a Montreal Canadiens playoff game. So sad. Too bad. So sad. All right, friends. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Line Change, legendary Carol Bovelander, and legendary Andrew Chang. Thank you for your support. Thanks to Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, you can subscribe. You can like the video. You can leave a donation. And yeah, you can do any of those things. Thank you to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. I will see all of you guys on Sunday night, if not tomorrow. But if I was a betting man, I'd say it's going to be Sunday night. Thanks, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and I hope you're doing okay. I hope you are doing okay. I need to do a bit of work, and I need to get some rest. So stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. You know, math is kind of hard, and math is kind of confusing. Hear me out. 15 plus 15 is 30. But 16 plus 16 is 32. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.